Alright, working on removing the rear brake hydraulics. Already got that piece cut off. That piece right there. And I'm working my way back up here. Already have this piece pulled off. What I need is a way to plug this guy, which I don't know yet. What I might do is just cut this and solder it closed. That might work. Just some way to plug this guy so I can put brake fluid in here and not have it leak out. So that's what I'm planning on doing now, is just getting rid of this stuff out. Alright, got all the stuff cut. You can see right there. I just cut it and pulled it up. So what I might do is just end up soldering that so it plugs it, just so that it doesn't drain. I maybe should have cut it a little bit further up so I can lift it up higher, just to where it just comes up above here. And I'm just planning on not using the rear brakes. I've got regen right there on that throttle. That'll be my rear brakes. And front brakes are just going to be the standard drums. And I need to check those and go and probably go and see if I can put brake fluid in there, but I don't want to do that until I have fixed that leak. I may just go solder it up right now. Oh, let me heat this up and solder it real good. Alright, so it is soldered up. How good of a connection it is, I have no clue. Don't touch that, it's hot. So, crimped it, heated it up, put solder in. Maybe it's healed, or maybe it's sealed. And I used electrical solder on that, not pipe solder, so it may not work at all, who knows, we'll see. So I was able to get this screw loose, and this one was stuck. What's funny is I saw a video not too long ago work on the brakes where this exact same screw was stuck and they had to cut it with a Dremel to get it off. So that's what I'm trying to do now. This one, like I said, is unscrewed or is loose. Still working on that one. So let me work on that now and I'll let you know how it goes. Winter chicken dinner. Got it loose. So take this apart. See if I can add some brake fluid, see how bad these master brake cylinders are, and see what I got to do to rebuild them. Alright, got the two screws out. I was able to get the one that I cut with the flathead with the Phillips the rest of the way. Let's see if we got fluid in here. Okay, something on top. Let me drop these screws down there. Well, brake fluid in there. That's surprising. I've been squeezing the brakes and nothing happens. So that would tell me that the pistons and everything are all screwed up. So let me work on getting a brake kit for this thing. Oh, put it back the other way. That's the way it goes on. So now let me figure out what I need. Oops, sorry. What I need to buy to fix the master cylinders. There's a couple of different websites you can go to that have stuff. I couldn't even tell. Like, I looked in the side, I looked here, and I tried to see if you could see anything, but I really couldn't. And so I was assuming that there was no fluid in here, that had all drained out, or just was bad, whatever. Clean off this tip is just full of shavings. I've squeezed the brakes and they do nothing as far as stop the wheels from turning. Good enough. Spin it. Not working at all. Superman, can't do it. Alright, well, need to rebuild the master brake cylinder. Add that to the to-do list. Working on the battery boxes, side battery boxes that I'm going to put on. I'm going to have one hoop here and then another hoop on the top bar coming around the top of it, and then going to have hoops going up and down and angles so that everything's triangled. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Hopefully we'll get some hoops welded on in the near future. Alright, if there's wind noise, sorry about that. So I'm starting to try to lay stuff out, just using the wood on the bottom and the top to try to get everything about right, and the levels to try to make sure everything is in and out correct. I think that looks pretty straight up and down. I've used the levels to get them straight up and down-ish. So what I've been doing is printing out these templates. And what I do is I put the templates on, and then I can cut out all the coping. This is for the all of these are for the short little angle bars that go in between everything. But now that I've got this guy lined up, what I'm going to do is take a picture straight down and then go into Pro or go into Creo and find out, go into SolidWorks and figure out what angle that is, just with using the sketch or the picture and sketches in the picture to figure that out. And then I can get the cope for that 1.5-inch tube right there to 1.25 inches, and I can get that curve printed out, and then I can put it on there, cut it, cope it. And the guy that did this, I'll give the name later, who I saw, he made a cross cart and he did all this, did it all in SolidWorks, did a really great job. And with that, I was like, okay, I can see what he did, I understand, and so I'm copying what he did because I liked it. And I'm going to have some triangles coming up and down here. I'm going to have a triangle coming out right there, and a triangle coming out on the bottom to top right there. And so that'll triangle that up pretty good and gusset it up to where it's hopefully decently strong. And then the other thing is that down here I bought 4130 tube. That bends so much better than that crap A36. But the problem is welding mild steel to 4130. You want to use the right filler rod, and then the main thing is you want to preheat to get all of the moisture off of the connection so that you don't get hydrogen embrittlement. Because when you weld, the moisture breaks from H2O into H2 and oxygen, and the hydrogen will diffuse into the steel and cause it to become embrittled, and all of a sudden it'll just crack. It has no ductility. And I really don't care about strength too much on this. So the filler rod that you use is a filler rod that's kind of like in between the two strengths, between mild steel, because I think this is A36 type tubing is my guess. It's just cheap tubing, and the filler rod I'm using is probably like 50 KSI, 70 KSI tensile. So, yep, that's where I'm at. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the picture, and I took it from straight down so that I can get the little bit less perspective, and I'm CADing up. The tube is the gray piece, and you can see that the actual tube is underneath the gray tube, and just looking to get the angles for what I need for the copes. So once I do that, I will get the coping done and make the template. And so now I'm doing it on the other front side. Just, you have to take two different pictures so that you don't have perspective. You want to get as straight above it as you can whenever you take the pictures, so that your angles don't have any perspective in them. It looks a little bit different. So now once I get the angles, then I can go and cut the tubes as I need to, and then it will give me the coping job that I need. So here, going into the actual tubes now that they're cut with those angles, then going into the drawing. And the issue is that it was a tube and not, I haven't flattened it yet. So it was flat and then it regenerated and turned it back into a tube, so now I got to go back into the part, unroll it, and then I can get that design. And so I put that onto the tubes, and that way I can get a decent cope. It's not perfect, unfortunately, and I do have to fill a lot of material in because it doesn't do it perfectly, but it gets it really close, so I'm pretty happy with it. And it just takes a long time to cut each tube, Each tube was taking me like 20 minutes to cope each one, so it's not the fastest way of doing it, but it works. Here is a mock-up of a Prius Prime module that is 19 cells long right there. So that will be sitting on top of 1x1 square tubing going across, so it's not going to be sitting up on top of the rails, it's going to be sitting flush with them, but that's approximately what it's going to look like. Alright, current progress update. I got the bars done on this side. I have one bar over there, and I'm getting ready to make the second bar. And the way I do it, I'll show you just now. Make these paper templates and tape them on, and then I just get to grinding, and it gives me a pretty good cope and everything. It's not perfect, but it's a whole lot cheaper than a coping jig, which I don't know if I really want, because this lets me fine-tune stuff a lot. So I like it, but it just takes forever to cut these things out. Alright, so after many grind, refit, or grind, test fit, I have gotten those two done, and the far ones are done also. Now, I guess I need to go on to the battery cases in the back and figure out how I'm going to do this. So for that, I guess I need to put in the seat again, get all that done. I need to get rid of all those cables. I need to just get all the cables and electrical stuff too. So maybe I'll just start cutting wires. So I was sitting here looking at it and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I always envisioned putting the inverter up here and having the wires go down. Roger always suggested against that, just because you want to have the inverter as close to the motor as possible to keep the runs, the motor leads, those guys, as short as possible. And I could do something like this, to where I could put the inverter right there. Yeah, that would work. And I was just worried about how I could do my support, because I was planning on running a pipe across the top there, because I was going to put a battery pretty much parallel with this surface right here, coming across, have a battery here and a battery here. So two batteries like that, and then I was thinking have one battery back here like this, because before I was thinking about sticking the battery down there, but I just don't think it's going to fit. I don't know how I'm going to get it fit. That might fit a little bit better there. I just have to think how I'm going to support the cross member pipe that goes across. I could use possibly these two guys down here, or I could triangulate it up, or maybe take a piece of pipe and curve it around and have them, like, two pipes come up and curve around a little bit. That, or just have a pipe come straight up on both sides of the inverter. It's just not a lot of room. Alright, look what came in the mail today. These are TX400 front end suspension parts. Those parts are going to replace the crappy trailing arm that is on the Odyssey at some point. Not right now. Current game plan is get the Odyssey going, rolling, to where I say, oh my god, I need better brakes, I need better suspension, and then upgrade all that stuff. But I want to play with it a little bit before I spend the time to put these on. But I got the parts. Yeah, fixing some of my bad copes here. I don't know how you weld without gloves, Ben. Alright, not too much progress to see, but I have finally finished welding up, or as I like to call it, hot gluing all of the joints. Got those done. Most of that. Most of these are done. Look at that nice hot glue gun job. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, just gob it on. Just like a hot glue gun. Just goopity goop goop. I might go back and put some silicone over that to make it look like a nice weld, just so people think I can actually do something well. But yeah, all gobbledygooped on. And these guys should be pretty strong. Jumping up and down on it. Hasn't fallen off yet, so that's positive. I'm only putting 35 pounds there. I'm 150, so 3x load test right there. What else? Then I cut off a whole bunch of stuff back here that were tabs and stuff like that for the original engine and transmission to make these two batteries fit. And what I'm thinking about having, I don't know if I've said it before, is just put another third battery right here for a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 batteries. I might be able to put the battery, no I can't. I was thinking sideways like this, but it won't because the Fox shocks are in the way for sure, because it takes up basically the entire width. I can see I missed a weld over there. I got to take that bolt out and weld that up at some point, but whatever. And then I still need to put on the plate that goes right here for the inverter mount. So I'm going to move the inverter from being up here to down there. I think I talked about that in the past. I think that's about it. And then, yeah, these welds I did with my Cracker Jack box welder. Actually, all but one broke, and I had to hot glue a little bit more on there, and that needs to be put on better also, but I'm going to wait for the actual welder to do that because I don't want that to break. This other stuff I think is okay. This other stuff I can do, and Ben welded that one on, and those welds look a whole lot better, and these are mine over here. These look like just garbage job. I mean, I don't know if you can see that one that well. It's just gobbledygooped on. Oh yeah, look at that one. That's beautiful. So, some of my welds look, you know, not total crap, and some look total crap.